Yulong defeated Cooler, but Cooler was still able to destroy Earth. Now, Yulong is left basically alone, with no idea of what to do. Where does he go from here? We'll cover all that and more in this finale of What If Frieza Was Good. Beerus and Whis eventually arrive on the moon. That fight happened in such a short time span that by the time they got here, it was already over. They didn't notice it right away. And, honestly, they thought Yulong had it in the bag. They didn't realize what Cooler was capable of. Of course, Beerus is going to try to help out Yulong here. Earth at least has some sort of importance to him, so he's not going to let it get destroyed like that. Whis suggests that he used the Dragon Balls on Namek. Oh yeah, he didn't even think to look for other sets of Dragon Balls. Thanks to Whis, he actually has some sort of hope. Although Whis says that's really the only help he could provide. In terms of getting to the planet, well, he's going to have to get there on his own. Yulong said that's okay. He could fly through space, and he should be able to fly fast enough. He doesn't know how long it'll take, but it shouldn't be too long. Beerus and Whis say they'll see Yulong soon. They just wanted to check in with him and give him some sort of directive. And he thanks them for their help. But then he realizes, the second they leave, he forgot to ask where Namek actually is. Thankfully, he still has one friend who can communicate with him. It's King Kai, telling him exactly what direction to go to. If he just flies straight, he'll make it right to Namek. Not like he has a spaceship anyway, so he has to rely on this. He begins his journey to that planet. Since he has to fly in a straight line, he can't make any detours, so he just continues flying straight. But amidst the flight, he gets a better glimpse of how big this universe actually is, just by seeing how big this galaxy is. He wishes he could explore other planets along the way. He never even thought of doing something like this. He's always just been on Earth. Once Earth is back and safe, he wants to travel more, through space, not Earth. He loves his planet, but look at all of this. To think, Cooler terrorized a universe this grand. He should try to enjoy this new peace, especially with him being the one to bring it about. Occasionally he does get bored on Earth, so maybe this will help that. But with Earth now gone, he also knows now to not take it for granted. Eventually he ends up on Namek. And weirdly enough, he senses some familiar powers. That's weird, he doesn't know anyone here. And those powers come in a set of 3. Oh, he knows who it is. He arrives in one of the villages and the 3 Saiyans are there, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz. They spend some time looking into what could have possibly made Cooler come back, eventually thinking that it's some sort of wish orbs, and after research they heard rumors of it probably being on Namek. So they made their way to this planet, but unfortunately it was at the exact time Yulong showed up here. And the second they see him here, they're almost ready to fight, but Yulong says he's not fighting here. He's just visiting this planet. Presumably for the same reason they are. Of course, they won't just give up the Dragon Balls that easily, although they haven't even gotten them yet. They're just in one of the villages that has one. So against their better judgment, they threaten Yulong to actually fight. Quickly he goes into his Jade form, just to intimidate them. Are they sure they want to fight? He just got back from killing Cooler, and he's not really in a good mood. You know what? Yeah, maybe it's better they stand down. Wait, what do you say? He got back from killing Cooler? Cooler is dead. They killed him. Oh, so it was them. He was wondering why Cooler had one robotic arm and part of his body was missing. He kind of inferred it was them, but he didn't actually have confirmation. He tells them they really need to do a better job when they kill someone because Cooler came back. And he was much stronger. To think, he's been out there all those years and the Saiyans didn't even realize, not to mention the fact that he merged with the Big Getty Star. And also ended up destroying Earth. Yulong's the only survivor. They end up staying out of Yulong's way, but they follow him around questioning him. They can easily tell what he's trying to wish for. He eventually does collect all the Dragon Balls because the Namekians here are willing to help him. First of all, he prevented the Saiyans from getting the Dragon Balls, who probably would have used deadly force if they couldn't get them right away. But also, they view Yulong as worthy, especially because of the wish he's trying to make. Although there is an issue, he doesn't really know what he's supposed to wish for. He wants to revive everyone, but to do that he'll have to wish for Earth back first, so will he have to make 2 trips here? And that would mean he has to wait another year for that. But eventually he's brought to the Elder Mori, and he learns that Purunga actually grants 3 wishes. Although usually he can only revive 1 person at a time, but Mori did make some recent upgrades, realizing that was a shortcoming of the Dragon Balls and mainly to test what he's capable of. So Yulong could actually bring everything back with 2 wishes. Also, part of the reason he made a better set is because he was keeping up with a lot of the current events, monitoring things out in space, watching out of curiosity. He learned of some monster named Majin Buu being revived temporarily. He knew some of Cooler's army was out there. And even all the way out here he could sense Cooler's power at points. He even just sensed the fight between Cooler and Yulong. That's how explosive it was. The power could be sensed out here. So it looks like he was right in doing that. Yulong wishes for Earth to be restored and for everyone to be revived. But there's one wish left, and the Saiyans are ready to take it. Thankfully the Namekians won't translate for them. Although Yulong also wants to use the wish up just so they don't have the chance of using it. So Yulong whispers to the translator, and Purunga disappears. That was their last wish. He says they don't need any more. And he says he'll also escort the Saiyans off this planet to make sure they don't cause trouble. They're free to come to Earth if they want, but they can't stay here. Of course this angers them, but he explains why he did it. If they really want to fight about it, they can. Or they could just leave peacefully. And knowing Yulong can and will kill them if he needs to, they kinda just accept it. Clearly he isn't Frieza. If he were as cruel as Cooler, then he would have just killed them on the spot. But he's very easygoing, almost to a fault. Yulong's elated that the wishes worked, and he's reunited with everyone. Thankfully they weren't dead for too long. Still, it was pretty strange. The Saiyans end up staying on Earth, but if they want to leave, they can. They could decide. He and Goku go back to Whis to train. But Yulong gets curious about other training. As time passes, things are going really well for him, and he's seeing some great development, but he wonders what else is out there. Cooler alluded to getting some great things during training, and he wonders where Cooler went for that. He mentions to Whis that Cooler had some sort of teleportation technique. Whis says it's probably from Yardrat. So, out of curiosity, Yulong goes there. Learning that Cooler actually visited this planet. He didn't destroy them, but used the Big Getty Star to copy their techniques. So, he didn't necessarily train here, rather just copied them. But Yulong takes some time here to learn that, which means he learns spirit control, teleportation, healing, size manipulation, cloning himself. That'll be so great in fights. Especially because the Tournament of Power comes up not too long after. We're kind of breezing through right now because this arc also wouldn't really amount to much. It's pretty clear that Universe 7 would end up winning. But for the record, their team would probably be Yulong, Goku, Tenshinhan, Krillin, Chaozu, Gohan, Videl, Mr. Satan, Vegeta, and then Raditz and Nappa would have to do rock, paper, scissors to decide who gets in. Obviously, they jump at the opportunity for this. And Raditz wins rock, paper, scissors, only to be the first elimination of the entire tournament. And Vegeta laughs at it. What a dumbass. The Saiyans are still kind of crass to be around, but they ended up joining this because Yulong was curious of what they're capable of. And obviously they wouldn't want to pass up the opportunity to fight. So they went along with it, and at least this established a connection between them somewhat. They are still very much secluded and mainly hang around themselves, even with the fact that Raditz has a brother on Earth. Following the tournament, there's no Broly. But Yulong is then visited by Maris, who warns him about Moro, a guy who steals power through magic. It's weird because he just learned Force Spirit Fission, which apparently is perfect for this, even though he could barely use it anywhere else. He thanks Cooler for that. He wouldn't have had the idea to go to Yardrat if it weren't for him teleporting in front of him. Maybe his brother did do something good, because using this, he's able to defeat Moro really easily. Besides, Namek helped him so much before that when he sees Moro's heading to Namek, he's gonna help without question, not like he would have said no anyways. And just like he promised to himself, he started taking short trips out in space, exploring the universe more and more. He'll spend a few days on each civilized planet and just hop around others. He really has no destination in mind, although one day he ends up on Serial. He hears this place has some pretty nice scenery. Weirdly enough, the civilization here is really small. As in, they're small people, but also, it's a small colony. But one of the people there really stands out. Among all the aliens, there's one guy that looks almost human. A man with green hair and two different colored eyes. As Yulong's walking around the city, the two make eye contact, and Yulong just smiles at him. Just a random stranger that he doesn't know. But the man immediately runs up to him, looking perplexed and almost angry in a way. This is Granola, and the reason he ran up to Yulong is because he looks like Cooler, and he heard rumors of Cooler having a brother. And especially with him being here, especially after Cooler was just defeated again a few years ago, he suspects Frieza's up to something. But he's not Frieza, he's Yulong. Granola almost ends up fighting him, but Yulong calms him down. He's not like his brother at all. He's just here on a vacation. He didn't even know about this planet until now. He ends up spending some time on this planet and learns more about Granola, as well as the history of this planet. Even meeting Monaido. Strangely enough, the only reason these two are alive is because a Saiyan saved them a while ago. Some guy named Bardock. Weird. Some Saiyans are still alive on Earth, but they're good people. Well, Goku is. He doesn't really mention the other three because it seems to be a sore spot for Granola. They must be a rarity among Saiyans. Of course, not even realizing who Bardock is. But there's a knock at Monaido's door. The Heaters are here and they aren't happy. They have been watching Granola and they see that Frieza's here. Of course they'd know about him because they know about Cooler and he was the main threat to them. Cooler's been gone for a while, so it's been nice for them. A lot of people knew Cooler came back, but they also knew the Saiyans killed him, which is also why Granola didn't immediately get mad when he said he was friends with some Saiyans. That very minutely changed his view on the Saiyans. Anyways, everyone thought Cooler died due to them. They didn't know he came back from the Big Getty Star. So for the past few years, the Heaters have been living a good life, the one that they had before Cooler was revived. And they assume Frieza's here to take the spot again. And this doesn't really sit right with Yulong. These guys worked for Cooler? Well, not really. But still, they had connections to him. And they're planet brokers. They're space pirates. Immediately he has a bad view of them, but he's not going to kill them right away. Until they try and kill him. As well as Granola for associating with him. Yulong tells them they really don't want to do this, but now seeing his new friend in danger, he quickly powers up and gets rid of them, leaving Granola flabbergasted seeing him defeat the Heaters so easily. He just wanted to enjoy his vacation and spend some peaceful time here with his new friend on planet Serial. He told them it wouldn't be a good idea to fight, but they didn't listen. Another loose end tied up that he didn't even know about. There's another passage of time. Someone wants to avenge the Red Ribbon Army. It's Magenta. He starts looking at everything he can, but amidst his digging he eventually finds Jiro's lab. And he has a project there that's about to awaken. So he throws some money at his scientist that he has already, not even needing Dr. Hedo. And they unleash Cell, with him finally awakening, albeit imperfect, but powerful thanks to Yulong. All of the data from the previous androids was sent to him. Plus, the drones have continued spying up until the same time Yulong left to fight Boo. By then they realized they had more than enough data. Boo never came here, and Earth was so peaceful that the drones decided to stop getting DNA. Besides, they had more than enough by that point. The only reason they got so much is because of how strong Yulong was. However, that's just for DNA. For actual data, they kept watching until Cooler came back. It's not like they would have gotten any extra DNA anyways. Unfortunately for them, that means no Beerus and Whis DNA. The supercomputer really wanted to combine the Big Getty Star with Cell, but that was mechanical, and the drones couldn't harvest that. But Magenta kinda screwed himself by awakening Cell, because Cell then kills Magenta and threatens everyone at the lab. They need to reverse engineer what Gero was working on. He was supposed to absorb androids 13, 14, and 15, or at least the merged android 13. But with them gone, he can't become perfect. He's not loyal to them, or anyone for that matter. And while they work on that, he's gonna go explore for a bit. Sure, he wants to become perfect, but with all the power he has now, he's probably ready to fight. He's itching for it. This first leads him to Kame House. Once again, Chaozu's wondering why every threat shows up here. This secluded place is supposed to be peaceful. Cell says he's here because he didn't really know where else to go. He just knows the androids went here and found everyone else at one time, so that's what he's doing. He'll probably kill and eat these guys later, but for now he needs them to bring everyone else here. The first people to show up are Gohan, Videl, and Mr. Satan, with Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz showing up not too long after. Roshi wonders why Chaozu called them, and it's because they're powerful. Maybe they can help here. Of course, the Saiyans really want to do their own thing and just fight Cell one-on-one instead of fighting smart. But thanks to this, they learn that Cell actually has some interesting powers. He has the DNA of all the Ginyu Force members, which doesn't really amount to much besides the fact that he has Ginyu's DNA, and he has Goldo's DNA. But he's not going to use Ginyu's power to swap bodies because he's in a body that's going to be perfect soon enough. Why would he need to do that? Although the time stopping really helps, and he's able to absorb power from pretty much everyone here, starting with the Saiyans and then going after Gohan, Videl, and Mr. Satan. But before they're attacked, help arrives. Goku and Yulong appear, with Yulong having teleported both of them here. Another guy absorbing power? Well, for Spirit Vision again. With a single punch, he returns all of the energy to everyone that Cell stole it from. But still, he's powerful even without that. You know what? He'll let Goku take this fight. But Yulong has a very different outlook on fighting and really wants the fight to end quick, especially with how dangerous this guy is. So he tells Goku not to play around. Use his full power. This might be a good test for that. Especially after everyone else tells him that Cell could stop time. Presumably for a while too. They need to prevent him from even doing that. So Goku immediately jumps to his most powerful form, Ultra Instinct. Obviously after all this time he has this. Especially with such a great teacher and such a great training partner. This makes the fight really easy for him. And he one-shots Cell. What he doesn't realize is Cell can come back pretty easily from pretty much nothing. So Cell waits for the right moment, regenerates, and then stops time. He didn't really want to use this, but he doesn't have a choice. He then swaps bodies with Goku. And thanks to all his great data, as well as being part Goku in general, he adjusts to the body really quickly. Oh, well, Yulong didn't expect this. This could actually be an issue. As far as he knows, Force Spirit Vision only works on absorption and merging. He's been trying to perfect his spirit abilities to go beyond that and maybe just steal energy in general. Even just the innate energy of opponents. But he doesn't know if it'll work on something like this. Does body swapping qualify as part of this? Cell, or rather Goku, then yells out to him. He tells Yulong not to worry. He's going to try and figure out what Cell did and just copy that on Cell again. He just needs to weaken Cell and hold him in place, which is much easier said than done. But for Yulong, this should not be a problem. Plus, he gets to use his own newest power. Obviously, Goku's Ultra Instinct is great, but he didn't let Goku get ahead. He has the same exact thing, as he powers up not into his Jade form, but into something brand new. A silver form with a slight tint to it. This is what he calls his Pearl form, once more based on his namesake and Journey to the West. Fun fact, pearls can also be golden or black apparently, so this is even more fitting because this is a replacement for his black form essentially. Well, sort of. Not only is this his peak form, but it also has the essence of Ultra Instinct in it. It's not simply his Ultra Instinct form, it's more than that, but it does all the same things Goku's Ultra Instinct does. Plus, unlike Goku, he could fully utilize its range of emotions in this form. He has complete control over it. Much more advanced than Goku, which is why it's combined with this form. And he's more than glad to test it on some new target. Although he can't kill this target, so he has to be kind of careful, but Goku says it's fine. He could beat up on Goku's body as much as he wants, as long as he doesn't kill it. He could use that spirit control thing to heal him later. Oh yeah, that is true. So he tells Cell sorry as he starts to go all out. First, he starts by throwing blast everywhere. Vegeta's watching nearby. That's his technique! Actually, no, it's more like Piccolo's technique. But Piccolo's not in the story, so it's original. Telekinetically, he lifts Cell up, throwing him across the ocean so he's far away from Kame House, with all the blasts in the air following him too. He then swipes his hands together and all the blasts converge on him. A dividend grenade, which is pretty much his Hellzone grenade. Cell then starts unleashing attacks on him. Again, he has really good control over Goku's body, so he could use pretty much anything Goku can. So Yulong simply creates blades on his arm, cutting through all the blasts thrown his way. This is another one of his new attacks, Stock Split, allowing him to be somewhat of a sword fighter. Well, looks like Cell needs to put more power into these attacks. He's also sort of losing control of Ultra Instinct. Despite being part Goku and having great knowledge of Goku as well, he can't really maintain this to its fullest. So he charges all of his power into a Kamehameha, telling Yulong he'd love to see him cut through this. He actually doesn't even need to. Next is a more risky move he's been working on, sort of based on what he did against Cooler when he stole his Black Hole attack. In hindsight, he realized it would have been really cool to name this against Cooler, but he wasn't really in the mood at the time. He creates a small barrier of ki in front of him, trapping the attack from Cell, and then with all of his focus, he gets complete control of the attack, then adding some of his own power to it, then splitting the attack in half, sending half of it back towards Cell, and keeping the other half to throw at him again just in case he needs to. He calls this attack Arbitrage. Half the Kamehameha returns to Cell, and it does a lot of damage, but not enough to kill him because obviously Yulong doesn't want to do that. But Yulong then takes the remaining ki from the attack and charges it even further. It starts swirling around in his hand, turning into a reddish color. And quickly, he launches it up into the sky. Goku's also nearby now, and he tries to use what Cell used against him, but can't really do it. So Yulong tries to help, using Force Spirit Vision to give a nice extra push. And with both of them trying together, they force it to revert, swapping the bodies back to normal, with Cell back in his original body once more. Out of desperation, he tries to stop time, which works, but then he sees a flurry of blasts from above coming down at him, the blast that Yulong just sent up. They're an ominous red color, and they're moving really fast towards him. But even with time stopped, those blasts are still moving. How powerful are they? They're breaking through time. They hit Cell head on and cause him to release his breath, which means he releases the time stop. He was hit by Yulong's ultimate attack, Market Crash. Yulong charges more power into it, and then the blast stops scattering around. They become more and more condensed, focused on one spot. He then dashes into the Hellfire Blast, uppercutting Cell with so much power that his head is knocked clean off. Obviously he's still alive, but this prevents him from stopping time for a bit, with his headless body being bombarded by lasers. Yulong launches a green blast upwards, Market Rally. Combined with the Market Crash, this catches Cell between the blast and finishes him off, destroying him for good. Yulong then quickly heals Goku, and Goku says those new moves are awesome. He was inspired by his hobby to make a new moveset, naming it all after investing terms. Speaking of investing, he's going to be investing way more into his students so they can learn cool stuff like that next. And you know, if Goku doesn't continue putting in work like he is, his students will pass Goku someday. Not only with Yulong acting as a ceiling for Goku, but with Yulong's students acting as a floor for Goku. And Goku accepts it. He's not going to let that happen. Besides, now with Ultra Instinct, he's confident he'll catch up to Yulong eventually. And Yulong says he'd love to see that. But only time will tell. And with that, we end off the story here. What do you guys think about the finale and the story as a whole? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel and shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thanks for supporting the scenario all the way through, and I'll see you all in my next video.